would not be considered material to the bulk power system, reliability in aggregate, these assets may become material. NERC appreciates the magnitude of the priority of the issue at hand and supports enacting legislation to address this. And moving forward, NERC is committed to complementing any federal authority to address cybersecurity challenges regardless of the form it takes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Naumann, for 5 minutes.
Thank you. Chairwoman Clark and members of the subcommittee, my name is Steve Naumann. I'm Vice President of Wholesale Market Development for Exelon Corporation. Our utility companies serve 5.4 million customers in Chicago and Philadelphia, and also serve as chairman of the NERC Member Representatives Committee. As was noted, I'm appearing on behalf of the Edison Electric Institute and the Electric Power Supply Organization. We appreciate the opportunity to testify about cybersecurity and critical infrastructure on behalf of these organizations. I'd like to discuss 3 issues relating to securing critical electric infrastructure. First, the success of public-private partnerships in recognizing and addressing cyber threats and vulnerabilities. Second, the need to avoid unintended consequences when implementing cybersecurity remedies. And third, policy proposals being considered by Congress and the administration. The owners, operators, and users of the bulk power system take cybersecurity very seriously. To this end, as cybersecurity threats continue to evolve and our adversaries become more sophisticated, the public sector welcomes even more cooperation with and information from government partners. Both the federal government and electric utilities have distinct realms of responsibility and expertise in protecting the bulk power system from cyber attack. Ideally, to ensure the cybersecurity of the nation's electric grid and utilize the vast expertise of both public and private sectors, we need to clearly define these complementary roles and responsibilities while facilitating cooperation and information sharing between government agencies and utilities. Giving you an example of how Exelon operates, we address risks through a defense in depth strategy while balancing the considerations for the consequences. This includes preventive monitoring and detective measures to ensure the security of our systems. We regularly perform penetration tests to inform us of whether our preventative strategies are working so we can enhance our protection as technologies and capabilities evolve. These tests allow us to practice and enhance our monitoring capabilities while yielding lessons learned that are unique to our system. But as was mentioned before, no 2 utility systems have identical network, hardware, or logistical strengths. No single entity will know the system's strengths or weaknesses like we do. Going on to smart grid, one of the issues that was raised was the increased possible vulnerability of adding these devices to the distribution system. We believe it's very important to work with the manufacturers and the vendors to ensure that security is built into the devices and is upgradable from the devices. We would encourage the development of a security certification program, a good housekeeping seal of approval, if you will, through which smart grid components and systems could undergo independent testing and receive that certification that security tests have been passed. This would help the utilities differentiate among vendors to select those providing appropriate cybersecurity. The careful consultation with the electric utility industry helps ensure that government intervention in protecting the grid from a cyber attack doesn't have unintended or harmful consequences. As mentioned, the electricity grid is a complex system that certain measures that might prevent a particular type of cyber attack could themselves have adverse impacts to safe and reliable utility operation and service to customers. For this reason, any new legislation that would give additional cybersecurity authority to a federal agency should be limited to true national emergency situations where there is a significant national security or public welfare concern, and should provide, to the extent possible, consultation with industry experts. Congress should focus then on what additional authority is needed in order to promote clarity and focus in response to imminent cybersecurity threats. The Section 215 mandatory reliability framework reflects years of work and broad consensus reached by industry and other stakeholders, and is a good starting point to build on. EPSA and EEI and their member companies remain fully committed to work with the government and the industry partners to increase security. I appreciate the opportunity to appear today and would be happy to answer any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and I thank all the witnesses for that testimony. I will remind each member that he or she will have 5 minutes to question the panel. I'll now recognize myself for the first set of questions. Each of you have talked about this attack in one capacity or another. Starting with Dr. Graham and going to his left, can the panel tell this committee, in their professional opinion, if the electric industry has appropriate protections today to protect against a cyber or an EMP attack?
Mr. Chairman, the electric industry today does not have adequate protection in place, or as far as I can tell, any protection in place for the power distribution and the power generation systems of this country. Given that the power grids are in a state of transformation, I believe this is a particularly appropriate time to build that protection in, and it will help not only with EMP, but with such problems as grid collapse, as we saw on August 13th, 2003, and earlier times as well. So it could be very effective, it's very timely, and I believe very needed.
Mr. Fabro,
I think
I have to admit also I love the name of your company, too.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. The question that you're asking is one that's quite difficult, because you're trying to encapsulate a very, very large problem with one single question. Is the bulk power system or the electric grid completely immune and protected from cyber attack? No. But there are significant pockets and significant pockets of progress that have shown that the overall cybersecurity risk profile of the bulk power system in North America, not just within the U.S., within North America, because it is a multinational issue, has improved substantially. And it is very easy to go and look at the things that are notably bad, reports from the press or other issues that we hear in various news outlets. But overall, from someone who experiences on a day-to-day basis, who lives and works in the trenches of this, I actually see standards and work and cooperative engagements and what is being done by public-private partnerships in action, and they work. I cannot comment on EMP. I will just leave that, of course, to Dr. Graham.
Thank you. Mr. Shanti.
I've been very encouraged by the progress in industry to secure vital systems to protect the bulk power system. It is a very complex problem in order to wrestle. And I will tell you this, I've been working for years in looking at the underlying technology, the vulnerabilities that exist, and the unique operating environments in which the technology exists. We do believe that there are vulnerabilities in the system. We know that we're not immune from these attacks. We are committed to this call to action. My letter dated on April 7th was I think, very important in that it brought out the dialogue that was necessary to talk about how to prioritize assets for protection. There are some important issues to consider when you look at how one could manipulate technology in such a way to cause an impact. The misuse of technology is a very important thing to consider, and the ability to exploit technology horizontally is important. Industry, I believe, is up for that challenge. I don't think there's an easy answer, and it won't happen very quickly. We're enhancing the standards. We're putting into place all the mechanisms necessary to be able to communicate about threats and warnings so we can take quicker action. We're dedicated to a public and private partnership to learn more information. And very briefly on EMP, I again believe that the electromagnetic pulse is a high impact concern is something that we are concerned in the electric power system. We are partnering with the Department of Energy We've consumed the EMP Commission's report. We supported it, not only staff, but also industry experts in their deliberation.